is SciFi Talks. This is a strategy to gather views on present and future of life sciences from academicians, entrepreneurs, and investors. For today's episode, I have a talented guest, co-founder, senior scientist, and director of international relations at Kathmandu Institute of Applied Sciences, Basant Giri. Dr. Giri has MS degree from Oregon State University and PhD degree from University of Wyoming, United States of America. Welcome, sir. Welcome, sir, to our.
Thank you so much.
Define yourself. How do you define yourself as a scientist, as a person? Sir?
I'm an analytical chemist by my education and training.
Yeah.
Trained both at Nepal and the US, and also I have a research experience both in Nepal and US. Lately in Nepal as a PI of many projects, and I also have some experience of teaching, starting from high school, what we used to call the +2, and undergraduate and graduate levels, both in US and Nepal. In the US as a teaching assistant, and in Nepal as a faculty. And these days I do not teach on a regular basis or full-time basis, but I only do guest lectures, and we conduct short trainings, summer schools, those sort of things. I also co-founded National Young Academy of Nepal, which is the only one young academy in Nepal that covers all disciplines of knowledge, not only the science or the technology. This was just started a couple of years ago. Currently, I serve as a co-chair of this young academy. I also, in addition to doing research on a regular basis, I also put some time for advocacy for science, advocacy for research in Nepal. Yeah.
Thank you so much for the information. And so it's a long journey, but you are from Dang, you are originally from Dang, and you went to Kathmandu, and after that we went to US, and then you returned back to Kathmandu. So how was your journey? And what is the trick behind this? So what brought you back to the country again? So
sometimes these days I look back to my educational journey, and looks like I have spent almost 40 years, 4 decades.
Yeah.
Starting from the first grade in my school in Bang Deukuri,
yeah.
Which is now the capital of the Lubmini province. I did not start with all these nursery and kindergartens, but we started from grade 1. So I spent 10 years in Bang. It's government. It was a government school. It's still a government school. Now it's a high school. And then almost 10 years for intermediate of science in Amrit campus, bachelor's in science in Kitsamar campus, and the master's degree from Critical campus, all three from Frugal University. So about 10 years. And then I went to US. Also in the US, I spent about maybe a little less than 10 years. So I would say about 10 years. And then I came back to Nepal after completing my studies, and it's going to be 10 years in a couple of years. So when I finished my studies, I did not have a second thought of staying in the US. So what I thought was, I went to the US for my studies. I completed my studies and just came back home. And there is no other reasons behind it.
Oh, sorry. So you came back with a plan, or without plan you just came?
Actually, I did not have any plan. I thought I would get a job,
Yeah.
and I wanted to be involved in research and teaching, and my goal was, my target was maybe, I'll do some research, produce, at least one good research paper is every year, and then maybe participate in at least one international conferences. That was my, target. Uh, but finding a job in Nepal was not easy. Still, I think it's the same pace because we have almost no job opportunities, especially for the skilled or the educated people. I approached a couple of universities. They were not positive about it, and so for about 6 7 months, I actually worked in NAST as a research fellow, and so spending a few months there, we realized that this is not the good platform for us in long term, and I, along with my other colleagues who were actually also working at the NAST, decided to start a independent new research organization, and that's how we started Kathmandu Institute of Applied Sciences. And ever since, I'm with this institute, and we do a lot of primarily focus on research, and we also do a lot of outreach activities from KAYAS.
Okay, so it's a non-profit organization, right?
It's a non-profit research organization. That's what we call it.
So why non-profit? So I see a lot of people come back and they start a non-profit organization. So what's the difference? Yeah.
I think we do not want to make money out of it. I mean, not as a sense like not to make profit from this research organization. So we see research as a public good. Um, we do research, and we think that everyone should get benefit from our research. So we did not think of making it some sort of enterprise and doing a business from it. That's why we started as a non-profit. And other aspect of it is, if you have a profit-making company, then it is difficult to get research funding. And if you establish a private and profit-making company, somebody has to invest it, and we did not have money to invest. So.
Yeah. So your main background is chemistry or say microfluidics, right? But your present.
Yeah, I'm chemist, and during my PhD, my research was developing, sensitive microfluidic immunoassays for various disease markers. For example, markers for cancer or other diseases. And then, so during my PhD, I worked with glass-based microfluidic chips. We used to fabricate by ourselves and have some strategies to increase the sensitivity of the assays for basically immunoassays. ELISA, I did a lot of ELISA.
Okay.
And after coming to Nepal, I'm still continuing the microfluidics, but it's a paper microfluidics, a little bit different, easy to fabricate and test.
I see your presence at different conferences related to whether it's air pollution related or climate change, healthcare. So you are completely diverse. So what makes you this diverse in that?
The conventional chemistry people in Nepal sometimes, say the work I do is not a chemistry. That's okay. I also say I do not do traditional chemistry, but chemistry is the backbone of my research. Further, as an analytical chemist, so the primary focus area of my research is to develop point of need technology, what we call the point of need technology, and that revolves around the paper microfluidics or the paper analytical devices, and we combine that with the smartphone for data recording, data reading, data analysis, and data reporting. And lately we have been integrating artificial intelligence and machine learning to these platforms. So that's our focus, but applications are diverse. For example, with these systems, we the applications run from monitoring the environmental contamination. That's how I talk about environmental pollution. For example, pesticide detection that comes with health and agriculture aspect. We have also worked with the smartphone microscope, and that comes, integrates the clinical diagnostic pathology sort of things. And yeah, so you are right. My research is very diverse. And another reason for this is we look at the problem first.
Yeah.
So we look at the local problem and try to help address that problem from our resources, the resources we have in terms of our expertise, our previous background, and the available resources. But most of these the problems we look at have global implications. Even though we look at the problem from our local, regional, or national perspective, they are equally applicable to other developing countries and sometimes even in the developed countries.
When it is about starting something, we always blame the system, we always blame the government, or bureaucracy. So, how easy or difficult was it for you to establish Kaius?
It was not easy. Still, it's not easy to run this organization, and there is a lot of uncertainty for the sustainability of this organization. Not only this, but similar other organizations. We have noticed there are few more research-based non-profit organizations in Nepal. Some are, doing really well. Some are struggling to survive, and some did not, survive for a long time. So it was not easy, and it's not easy. Why I'm telling this is, the legal system does not recognize the research organization itself. So that's because of that we registered this organization as a non-government organization, NGO. And when you say NGO, people immediately have a different thought. They do not consider even NGO can do a scientific research. So there are a lot of legal issues that the government has to address, and we have been lobbying for this for a long time. And the other challenges is the funding. In Nepal, we do not have some sort of national funding agencies like the NSF or NIH in the US. So we have to rely or compete for international research grants on regular basis, and that's very competitive and that's very challenging. And other challenges of running a research organization in Nepal is, there is we are at the very bottom. We are very at the very infancy stage. We're just starting. So there is no real understanding of how research organizations are run and the importance of research and those sort of things. So there is no real research ecosystem. And we also always tell that we need to build a research ecosystem in Nepal, those sort of things. And we have a challenge of having good human resources plus physical infrastructure. So there are a lot of challenges, but I think we are doing good.
Yeah, the team is the most important thing. So, how do you create the perfect team? So, what do you say about this? Because in every business, or whether it's a non-profit organization, the team is the most important. How was your founding team formed?
To be honest, when we started Kaius, we did not think of the team members playing different roles and the backgrounds of team, interests of team. So we had only one common goal. We wanted to establish a research organization and take it for a long time. That's the interest we had that time, and I think that interest is still driving our research organization till now.
Okay.
We do not have other interests.
Let's talk about the sectors. So, like you have seen, you are playing in this Nepalese ecosystem. So you might know the sectors of the possibilities. So what do you think are the life sciences sectors you see that are the possibilities in Nepal, business-wise?
I think there is a very good opportunity in terms of doing research or making these doing enterprise kind of thing in life sciences. Recently, I traveled to Singapore and China to celebrate the 70th anniversary of the discovery of the double helix structure of DNA. And I met a lot of big people and big companies there. And so I see a lot of, big market potential also in Nepal.
Yeah.
Because a lot of things are changing now. You name it, like we can go into the disease diagnosis, diagnostic part, and that comes with the genomics and those sort of things. And we have seen the importance of genomics and PCR in the recent COVID crisis. And we do not have actually the basic infrastructure for these kind of new technologies and the emerging technology. For example, people now have been combining the genomics with the data. So there is one big thing, data, and the other big thing is genomics. And when you combine these two things, I see a lot of big potential and opportunity in these areas.
Okay, you mean in the diagnostic wise, in the life, so diagnostic can be a potential life sciences sector, business wise.
That's one big sector actually. When you want to do business in this area, that's another big potential area actually.
Okay. So I was a microfluidics guy a year back. I studied microfluidics. I worked in a company as a microfluidics engineer. And so I would like to ask the similar question related to the microfluidics. So what's the scope of microfluidics you see in Nepal or country like Nepal? Or can we bring the microfluidics technologies to Nepal? Or will it be just limited to the paper microfluidics?
Because definitely, yes. When you talk about microfluidics, it's not only Nepal, right?
Yeah.
So if you have something competitive tool, then you can go to global market.
Yeah.
And microfluidics type of technologies are more relevant to a country like Nepal because we have a lot of remote areas and we see a lot of emergency situations. For example, a few years ago, there was a diarrhea outbreak in Kapilvastu, right? And it took I think more than a week to know the causing factor of the diarrhea. When you have a portable point of need type of technologies, you could take them to the remote areas or have them test the different types of diseases during emergencies. So countries like Nepal have more relevancy of these kind of technologies, but you can go to global market with these emerging technologies.
Like I saw you have invented something like PCR machine or something like these Frugal Innovations. Like what do you think about these innovations? Like is Frugal approach efficient or is it just a hype? Just going.
No, I think that they are really good for many applications, for many needs. Actually, we did not invent the PCR. We just build up the thermocycler.
Yeah.
This is a major component of PCR that could be run through a smartphone application, and with the conventional commercial thermocycler. So the frugal technologies have, I think, really good potential. We just need to have the right technology, and the group or the company that can do business marketing and all those things. And we are lacking in that direction.
So I think we need to talk about we need to organize this kind of this type of talks so that we can integrate both science and finance and collaborate with these people.
That's the most needed some sort of training or what you say. Actually, for us, we have a lot of potential products that can be commercialized. They are research proven from the lab, but we are not able to take them from our lab to the market. And we need some sort of training training or partnership or the investment, those sort of things, to have the real use of these research products.
So you think there is a possibility of spinning out a company or selling products from research done in the research labs like CAIS, or so you,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Or will it be just be limited to the research publications? So we need more collaborations, and collaboration is a
We
key.
need, yeah, that's what I have been telling in uh, for past couple of years to many forums that I cannot do all things by myself or my group.
Yeah.
We need partnership, we need collaboration, and we also need investment to take these research products from our lab to the market.
So when it comes to research, we always talk about the publications. So does publication matter, and we always talk about the patents, and what is the status of patents in Nepal? So does patent matter?
Patent matters. So when you are in a research system, and then when you say I have done something, and nobody will believe you. Either you have to show your patent or you have to show your publication. There are the two things that you can actually document and demonstrate. So patenting in Nepal is at very infancy stage. There are couple of few patents every year, very few patents from Nepal, and there are a lot of things we can talk about the patent filing in Nepal, and we cannot go to the international patent filing because of it costs a lot of money. For example, we had one. We wrote a patent and then applied for a provisional patent for in the USPTO office because it did not cost a lot of money. It was, I think, around $100 you can file a provisional patent. But when you want to move from a provisional patent to the regular patent, and it costs thousands of dollars, and we could not afford that. So now we are planning to release our patent as a publication. So patenting is it's needed, it's required to protect your invention or innovation, but that is also lacking in Nepal, unfortunately.
Let's talk about the business model or the operation model or the some funding sources. So what kind of business model, or say in non-profit like your, let's say operation model, can work in Nepal in case of people with a scientific background, because they might not know the perfect business model or operation model. So what kind of sources could be the funding sources? I mean, should we just get dependent on the international grants and funding, or can we also do some sort of, or just change the operation model or the business model and do something in Nepal without depending on the foreign?
So the model we are following is what most of the research groups do globally. So you have idea, you put that idea as a proposal, and you submit that proposal to a funding agency, and it goes through a rounds of evaluations, and if you are selected, then you get the research funding. This is how we have been operating. And as I said before, because Nepal does not have a research funding mechanism, at least for organizations like us, I think more than 95% of our budget comes from international research, international funding agencies, and we have been lobbying with our government. Not only we, a lot of people in this sector are lobbying with the government to establish a national funding agency kind of thing to support the research and maybe the innovation and the enterprise in this sector. But unfortunately, that's lacking. There are few organizations who also get funding from by providing services to different sectors in Nepal. But that's a very small, I guess, amount of money you can get from a research service providing activities. That's very challenging. You also have to take into consideration that Nepal does not have a big industries. So, and then that, getting support from industries is also challenging in Nepal. So, yeah, it's challenging.
Life sciences startups are very fancy, but the initial cost is very expensive. So in Nepal, we could see some kind of fusion model. I don't know the better term for this, but fusion. I mean, the same people, same team running the research lab for a grant on one side, and the same team is running the company or the startup like in another side. So what do you think about this kind of method? So is it a very efficient method, or there could be other funding sources too?
I think that could be another approach. Maybe you can go side by side. You write the research grant proposals and also bid for the research grant from national and international funding agencies, and you also utilize the resources you have and provide service to the maybe a private sector or even the government sector, and also generate um, some money. I think these two models can go side by side. This is a good idea actually. I think some companies or some research organizations are doing working on this line also.
But what, according to you, is the main problem for life sciences industries establishment and success in Nepal? So the market, is it the market or
The investment
okay?
and the market potential. Yeah, these
But,
two things.
but do you think we are capable? We have expertise and human resource required to start a life sciences startup in Nepal, or still we lack the human resource?
I would say we have a good, number of human resources, the technical human resources in life sciences. But maybe we lack people from connecting business to the technical part. So maybe that connection may be lacking. But in terms of technical life science human resources, um, there are good people, and if you can you can move into a good business in this direction, then people from abroad can actually come in Nepal and work.
Repeating again the same question in different way. So, what, according to you, is the main problem in your research? I mean, in your research lab in a KAIS. So, is it the similar to what you said earlier, or is it different? The problem is
Yeah. So, couple of points. There is no legal framework, legal support for running independent research organizations. Number one. Number two, there's no funding. I would say no funding because there is the University Grants Commission that provides funding for university students and faculties, even though that amount is very minimal. But that does not UGC does not provide funding for organizations like ours. And another problem or the challenge is the human resources. We train our students for maybe 6 months, 1 year, maybe a couple of years, and they do not see a good future in Nepal and they move abroad. That's another problem. There's no research ecosystem. Research has a lot of different components, and all these components are at very infancy stage, and people still have to realize the importance of research ecosystem. And finally, the physical infrastructure is also a challenge.
I think we are in the end, so I would like to ask about the future. So, what do you think about the future of life sciences research or life sciences companies in Nepal? So,
I see a good future, even though at present we are not that good. The environment is not good, but we are hopeful. Things are changing actually. We can name a couple of organizations in life sciences doing really good. So we see a good future. Hopefully, things will change in future.
like, what do you say to a bachelor's or master student of Nepal who is worrying about the future and a career?
I think they should get a good training, good education. It does not matter, whether you get that training. You can get that training in Nepal if that is possible. If not, do not hesitate to move abroad. If things allow you, go and get a good training. And then even after you finish your education, it does not matter whether you come back to Nepal or you work in other countries. You can serve. Um, if you like, you can always come to Nepal and work from here. There are a couple of things that you can enjoy working in Nepal, but as we discussed during this conversation, there are some challenges staying in Nepal. But for students, it's very important to get good training in a good lab. That matters actually.
So there are many students who are already doing PhD abroad. So what is your suggestion for them? So do you strongly suggest them to come back, or do you say, okay, enjoy your life there and do your job over there, you don't need to worry about Nepal and come back? So
I think it's our life, and then whatever you do in your life should make you happy. Do not be confined in a single country or your origin. I think you can work anywhere. But if you want to come back to Nepal, you guys are always welcome, and we will help get it started. But work wherever you feel comfortable, you feel happy, and if you find a good job. I think that matters more these days.
well, so you have different fellowship under your hat, like you are PROS fellow, right? And
Yeah.
you are different awards. So what's the trick? How can someone become that kind of awardee? Like how can someone get so many awards? A single person. So what's the trick behind that?
Uh, so you need to find the right combination of the requirements of the not only award, but also this is also true for research grants, and other supports. There needs to be a right combination, right matching of your background, your expertise, and the person or the expertise the funding agencies or the other organizations are looking for. And if you can find those sort of things, then there is a high chance, the high probability that you are selected. But you need to be, you need to keep an eye on all these opportunities, and do not apply to all opportunities you see. Apply to those who are best matching to your future goal, to your expertise and your experiences.
We are in the end of our talk. So the conclusion is we have possibilities. Life sciences business or life sciences non-profit organization also have the possibility in Nepal. So it's possible. So thank you so much for your time, sir, and for your valuable suggestions. And thank you again for sharing this wonderful information. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. And as you, in your concluding remark, you said there is a possibility. I can give you an example. I met Professor Yang-Ming Wang from the Chinese Academy of Sciences, who was the co-founder of Beijing Institute of Genomics in 1990s. So during that time, China did not have the level of expertise and resources in establishing the genomic research and service. But they started that time and participated in the Human Genome Project and contributed from China. And now, in 30 years, the company has grown enormously. I visited their labs. So maybe if we start something like that in Nepal now, after 20 years or 30 years, we are recognized as a player of this field, And I wish you all the best. And you guys are the ones who can, start these new ideas now.
Yeah,
Good
genomics
luck.
is the key. Genomics is the key, and the best key is the starting is the key. So I think we should start. And there could be many challenges, but the best way is to start something. Better than not doing anything. It's always better to start. So thank you so much, sir.
All right. Thank you.